What's going on, guys? It's Showtime Productions, back with another video. Today I'll be talking about what happened to one of the greatest college players of all time. A player that people compared to Randy Moss, Charles Rogers.
I'm Charles Rogers. I had 68 catches and 13 touchdowns. I'm Charles Rogers. I had 68 catches.
In life, it's always important that although success is critical, the way you handle success holds a much higher importance than anything else. That's something to keep in mind when it comes to talking about Charles Rogers and his story. Rogers was born on May 23, 1981 in Saginaw, Michigan. Rogers was a gifted athlete in multiple sports. He used his natural God-given talents to his strength and was able to become a 5-star athlete in 3 different sports, which included track, basketball, and football. He ultimately chose to pursue football at Michigan State University. As a redshirt freshman, Rogers sat on the bench as he patiently awaited his chance. As a sophomore, Charles Rogers struck fear into opposing quarterbacks with his imposing size and quick feet. He had 67 catches for 1,470 yards and 14 touchdowns, and helped lead Michigan State to a bowl win over 20th-ranked Fresno State. As a junior, Rogers' production suffered a slight decline, but he was able to put up jaw-dropping numbers despite this. 68 catches for 1,351 yards and 13 touchdowns. At the end of his sophomore season, Rogers drew comparisons to Randy Moss, one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. Randy was also a super tall and athletic receiver with an ability to catch the deep ball. Knowing that there was no point in staying in college, Rogers declared for the 2003 NFL Draft. The 2003 draft was full of busts like Byron Leftwich, who was selected number 7 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bengals were set on taking USC quarterback Carson Palmer with the first pick, which left Detroit in a bit of a predicament. They needed a wide receiver to complement their young quarterback Joey Harrington. There was a massive debate between Charles Rogers and Andre Johnson as to who was the better receiver. Most scouts gave the nod to Charles Rogers because of his physical abilities, but many praised Johnson for having superior mental prowess when it came to areas like running routes and finding holes in the defense. The Lions ultimately took Rogers, and the Texans were able to land Andre Johnson with the very next pick. In the first 5 games of his rookie career, Charles Rogers looked like the wide receiver everyone thought he would be. He caught 22 passes for 243 yards and 3 touchdowns. Keep in mind that he accumulated those stats with Joey Harrington at quarterback, the same quarterback who threw for more interceptions in his career than touchdowns. Charles Rogers would soon suffer the first of many injuries throughout his NFL career. He was injured in a speed drill during practice. Rogers was heartbroken that he would have to miss the rest of the season. He used this as motivation. He worked his butt off in the offseason and hoped that he would be able to build off of his rookie success. On the 3rd play of the 2004 NFL season, Charles Rogers broke the same collarbone and was ruled out for the rest of the season. He was told to spend the rest of the season at home without supervision from the team. Matt Millen would later go on to say that he made a mistake by letting Rogers be away from the team for an extended period of time. At this point, Rogers was emotionally distraught that these injuries kept coming to him. These injuries would spiral into something much worse. Although Charles Rogers was blessed with an extreme amount of talent, being drafted to Detroit was one of the main reasons why he became a bust. Being only an hour away from his hometown of Saginaw, Rogers was very close to his friends from his hometown. Soon, those friends of his got into drugs, and Charles Rogers followed in their footsteps. Having that connection to his friends exposed him to more opportunities to participate in similar legal activities. In the 2005 NFL season, his drug use would finally rise up to the surface. Rodgers was suspended for the first 4 games of the season due to his 3rd violation of the league's substance abuse policy. It was later discovered that Charles Rodgers failed all of his drug tests at Michigan State. Rodgers was forced to give the Lions $8.5 million back because of a violation of his contract. When Rodgers came back from his suspension, he put up below average numbers of 14 receptions for 197 yards and 1 touchdown. Rodgers was given a chance to redeem himself in the offseason by new coach Rod Marinelli, but was cut at the end of training camp. Rodgers tried out for a couple of teams like the New England Patriots and New Orleans Saints, but none of them offered him a contract due to his slow 40-yard dash times of 4.8 seconds. To put that into perspective, he ran a sub 4.4 time during the NFL Combine. Also, to think about, a quarterback usually runs around a 4.8 on average. Think about that. There are some quarterbacks in the NFL today that ran faster 40-yard dash times than Charles Rodgers. And he's a wide receiver. He's supposed to be fast. That was one of the things that got him drafted so high in the first place. Rodgers was out of the league, and with no job and no money coming in, he turned to crime. Rodgers has been arrested 6 separate times due to various alcohol and drug-related issues. In a 2009 interview with Jemele Hill, he opened up about his usage of marijuana.
How much were drugs a part of your life in the NFL?
I was just really smoking. So when I jumped,
You mean marijuana?
Marijuana, right?
Okay.
So when I really jumped onto that pill game,
You mean prescription?
yeah, prescription medicine. So when I jumped on that, that was after like my 2nd break.
How often were you using marijuana?
Regularly.
You mean like every day, or do you mean like?
Yeah, I blew every day. But you know, I was doing something wrong. You can't smoke, you know, in the league. So, you know, I was wrong.
Today, Charles Rodgers now works at an auto body shop in Saginaw. He proclaims that he still smokes marijuana to this day and that his involvement with drugs all started because his grandfather died and increased because of his 2004 collarbone injury. Grandfather.
And I feel like if he was here today, life would be different for Charles Rodgers. And I'm just sad I hurt him. I let him down.
Always remember, success is only one part of the puzzle. The way you handle success is important. When it came to Charles Rodgers, he put his money in the wrong places and let his fortune get to his head. The culmination of his grandfather's death and the 2004 collarbone injury sent him into a deep, deep depression and led him to a usage of marijuana. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.